Okay, now I have to sync that with this. And there we are. All right, and this is where it will show. So there's nobody here yet. There we go.
We're frozen, we're not moving.
No, there's just a tiny bit of lag between
Gotcha.
that and the computer. There's Susan. Hi, Susan. Okay, come on, Bonnie. Hello, guys. We're just kind of waiting here a minute to get some people in. Hi, Carla. We've got some fun stuff to show you guys today. We have a lot of fusing information to share, and Bonnie's going to do this. My friend Bonnie.
Hi.
And she's kind of one of the main people that got me interested in working with glass. So I'm going to show you her studio and some of her things that we play with down here. But today we're going to talk about the introduction to glass fusing for anybody who isn't aware what that is. And if you have done it, it'll be like a little refresher for you. So I'm going to be picking up the phone and kind of walking around with it. I'll show you some things, and then Bonnie will show you some of the steps in what's involved. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so here we go. I am going to flip the camera over. Here we go. And show you some of the pieces that Bonnie has created. Now we're just basically talking jewelry glass fusing today, but there are a million gazillion different things that you can do with fusing. So here are some of her pieces, and then I'm going to move around. Let's see here. We've got some, like I said, finished pieces here, and then we've got dichroic glass. This is usually how we buy the glass. And then there are some jewelry molds here that you may or may not want to use. Yeah, Bonnie does really nice work. This is a garden stake. Let's see if I can get a better picture of that, with dichroic glass in it that she made for, you could put in a potted plant. All right, Susan's asking, is it called dichroic glass? What exactly is that?
It's the reflective mirrored finish on glass. It's, reflects the light. It's got
different colors embedded in it.
Patterns that it comes in, and it comes in different textures. And it's dichroic, I guess, is the substance that makes the glitter.
Yeah, makes it kind of glittery like.
Mirrored finish, kind of.
So that's on some of these pieces here. Well, there's almost all of them have the dichroic in there. Here's a really nice example of some different colors in there. Just gives you different choices. And this one is just little chips of different kinds of dichroic glass in there. Just kind of fun. It's different. Okay. All right. So then moving around here.
So if you're going to do glass and you've never done glass, it comes in different COEs. That's the rate that it melts. And it comes in 90 and 96. I recommend that whatever you choose, 90 or 96, that you stick with that. Because if you mix 90 and 96 in the same piece, when it cools down, it will crack. And if you think you got away with it, and it didn't crack, maybe 6 months from now, all of a sudden it'll be in two pieces. So you don't ever want to mix. So you can use like black for the back, and a lot of dichroic comes black on the back. We're going to be using 96 today, and if you use an iridescent glass, this is iridescent, that's not dichro, that's just has that shimmer to it. That needs to be covered with clear to preserve that iridescent color. If I use 2 pieces of this together, I'll put the iridescent to itself, and that'll keep it from. Otherwise, if you put it straight up in the mold, I mean in the kiln, the iridescence just goes away.
Okay.
So there's all kinds of things that you could do when you're making your piece. You pick out your glass, what you want to use, and then you could, like, these are components that you can buy, little fancy dichroic things. This is not dichroic, that's just a little cactus. And these are ones that I've made, like if you want to do petals or something like that, get somebody who knows how to work with a torch. You can make petals real easy on the torch, which is a whole different thing, but then you can make a flower. Bubbits like this, little round things, you can make just by taking frit, coarse frit, and putting it in the kiln, spread it out on a sheet of kiln paper, and then full fuse it, and they'll just turn into those little round bubbits. Then you could take those and use them, you know, like for the center of a flower, or for petals on a flower. You could put them around in a circle and then full fuse them to your piece. This is the only example I have of that right now. I made the little petals and the little round thing and then full fused it on there.
Okay. So
the tools that you need are a glass cutter and what do they call them?
breaking pliers?
Breaking pliers, yeah. This is a fancier pair. Most people just use one of these. Has this little line here in the middle. After you score, you want to line it up with that little line to break it. There's different kinds of glass cutters that you can get. I prefer this. Both of these can be filled with oil. That is way too much oil. You don't ever want to do that.
Just put a little bit in?
Just put some oil on a napkin in the bottom of a jar. And when you store your cutter, just store it so that it's down in the jar, and it'll pick up just enough oil that isn't going to make a big mess.
I didn't know that. That's a good tip.
This is a breaking plier, so if you got a little piece that didn't break off, sometimes you can just nip it with this and crack it off. Not a necessity, but a nice thing. The most things you got to have is
The breaking pliers
and
the
breaking
cutter.
pliers, yeah.
The grid is nice,
The
too.
grid is nice.
Oh, the little
Again,
chips of glass.
it's not necessary, but it is really nice to get a nice straight line when you're cutting your piece. And then the little chips fall in the little holes, so you don't have to deal with them, and then once in a while you dump it. So, say if we wanted to use this piece, and we want to cut a square out of there.
I may come on the other side of you here.
You work with the dichro side down always. You don't want to score with the dichro side up, because in the process you might scratch it where you didn't want it scratched. Then I hold on to it so that it doesn't move, and put this right up next to the thing, and just, do you hear that little scratchy sound? That means that it worked. And then you can see, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, the score.
I don't think I can see it in
Well,
there.
in the naked eye, you'll know it when you see it. then you would take this line it up with that score, and give it a squeeze, and it'll break nice and even.
Just like butter, huh?
Just like butter. So I'm going to do another little line. You hear that little grit? So there's a pretty piece. Now what could we put with that? That would look nice with that. Could be some decoration. That's pretty. It's purples. I'm thinking that this is kind of pretty with that too, isn't it?
So in answer to one of the questions, Bonnie had said that either the COE would be 90 or 96. It doesn't matter which one you pick, but you should stick with whichever number you pick, so you don't want to mix them because they can be incompatible.
See, we have some of each here in my studio, and we just always write it on there right away. When it comes, it has a label on it, so you know what it is. But as soon as you use that piece and chop it up, that label's nowhere on another. So we take marker and just write 96 on every piece so that we don't get it in the wrong spot and by mistake put it with 90. So that could be your piece there just as it is. You can
You've got it stacked.
yeah,
Okay,
you want
so
at
the
least two
clear's
pieces.
there. There. What's that, Bonnie?
You want at least two
You want at least 2 pieces. And this Dicro has texture on it.
Yeah. So if you go over 2 pieces, it'll still fuse. So let's see, this would be the 3rd piece. Put that little line right with your line. Okay, so if you wanted just to have that iridescent piece, you could do just like that.
And you don't have to wipe off that number. Will that number just fuse off, or should you wipe it off?
No, we're going to clean everything before we cook. It's real important after you do all your cutting that you're going to go, and we'll use a little, I'm going to take these pieces over there and show you. Just have some water, put some white vinegar in it. Just a slosh of it. It's not too scientific, but you want to scrub all that off of there. And you want to do the edges just to make sure that that oil that is down on your cutter isn't still on your piece.
Carla's asking what % does the size change when it's fired? Is there much of a change in the size?
Glass wants to be a 1/2 inch thick. So if you use 2 pieces, I'm sorry, wants to be a 1/4 inch thick. If you use 2 pieces that are each 1/8 inch, they'll pretty much stay the same size. But if you stack a 3rd piece on, then, and people tell you like to be careful, like after you clean it, not to get your fingerprints on it. I don't think that that's a big deal, but who knows.
So can you make a piece too thick then?
If you make it too thick, so say if we decided we were going to put this on here, then we want to put a clear on top, which would magnify that design and smooth it out somewhat, then you are more than 1/4 of an inch. So when you fuse it, it's going to spread out to be a little bit bigger because it wants to be 1/4 of an inch. It's going to move.
Okay.
So this might be okay, and I can show you an example of what can happen if it's not okay. When you're using Dicro and you put clear on top, this right here turned out beautiful, but it got a big old bubble right there and ruined the piece. Big bubble here, and that's from the glass. It wants to leave, you know, that it's trapped air between the 2 layers of glass.
That's such a shame. That was a pretty piece.
I keep all my messes here to remind me how to do that.
It's a
So
good reminder.
if you wanted to make sure that you were not going to get that glass bubble, then take this clear, cover up your iridescent piece, put your Dicro on top, then it'll have that iridescent around it, and it'll have the texture. Like on this earring. See, it's all bumpy.
That's neat.
So we could
It's a nice texture.
yeah. And it picks up the light, you know what I mean? Different ways when you're wearing an earring, it will shimmer. So, I wanted to show you on these demo pieces that I did. Because this has black on the back, see how it makes a black outline around the glass? You see it here too? That's because of that black that's on the back.
But that's a nice look.
Oh, absolutely. People would think that you went through all the trouble to outline everything. So, when you're fusing your glass, if you're blessed, you have a big kiln and you can do as much as you want. This is my kiln and we use it for plates and what have you. Inside it has a kiln shelf that sits up on a couple of little feet.
Okay.
And then you have your shelf because you want that circulation all around. Then you would put paper down, kiln paper, which I have a lot down here. So if you're doing plates and stuff like that, you end up with all kinds of little scrap like this. I never throw anything away because that's the perfect size to do fusing of little jewelry pieces. If you're new to this and you just don't even know if you really want to get that into it, they have little microwave kilns. This is a microwave kiln. This is kiln shelf paper that's down there. It has a special lining in it that makes it heat up hot enough in your microwave to melt glass. So,
What else? Are we gonna cook that one in the microwave then?
we could do that. Why don't we do that now? And then we can come back and do other stuff. Let's only do a 2-layer one though for the microwave. So let's see, that is 1 1/4. Oops, turn it over. doesn't turn out exactly the same size, you can get away with a little bit of this or that. It's still going to make a pretty piece. So when you're using a microwave kiln, it's best that you just do 2 pieces of glass, not 3. In a big kiln, you can cook a lot more. Okay, so now you put your little piece. This, I have a bunch of stacks of it because I ruined my kiln and my husband sanded it off too far, so I didn't have a raised area in the middle. When you get your kiln, it'll have a little raised area that when the lid comes down, it fits on there nice and snug. So this paper, kiln shelf paper, you can get at Hobby Lobby.
You can get it on Amazon too,
You
I
can
think.
probably get it on Amazon, yeah. And we just looked today, you can get this little kiln on Amazon. So then you put that on top of there. And you would want to put just a dot of hairspray or Elmer's glue. If I can get a dot out. Yep.
That's just a little hairspray?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a little hairspray, and that'll be just enough to hold that little guy right exactly where you want him. So you want to make it as even as you can. So I'm a little bit wider on the clear, a little bit shallower on that. We'll see what that does.
All right, Suni, I'm going to show you this. This is by FuseWorks. I know it's backwards for you probably. Maybe not. Kiln paper. Okay, just little, looks like a 5x5.
If you get your kiln with a kit, the whole kit comes with full instructions on how to fuse, you know, what temperatures, how many minutes, don't do this, don't do that.
And the
And
microwave needs to be 1,000,
yes,
whatever it
Watts.
is, 1,000 watts.
or 1200.
Yeah, 1,000 to 1,200. Some of the 800 kilns, it's not going to work on that.
Yeah.
But
And with that kit, you'll get these special gloves. These, even though you see burns on them, they won't burn.
yeah, you get the gloves, you get the kiln, you get some glass samples, some paper. It's a real good value for $50. So that's that. Now, someone was asking if you were doing the full fuse in your big kiln, what would that be like set at, you know, and how much time does that take?
Okay, when I'm doing a full fuse,
There's charts, guys.
yes, yeah,
This is important.
maybe we should put a chart down.
Yeah, I can put that in the
Yeah,
handout.
because it's like you do at a rate of 300 up to 1,550 and hold it for 30 minutes. And that's what I do. Plates, everything the same, because what I'll do when I'm using my big kiln is there'll be plates and pieces of jewelry and everything in there, and then you can't fuse too slow. You can fuse too fast. So because we're using these little pieces in the microwave, it's going to be fast.
Okay.
But I would never do it that fast in my big kiln. I would probably have something else in there. I've never tried it. I can't imagine that would be a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no problem for that, Carla. I just, I'll scan it or something and put it in the handout because that's pretty handy to have. Should I come up there with you on that?
Yeah, why don't you come up and I can show them.
Okay,
How
so we're going up the
super
stairs,
easy.
guys.
Don't show my butt when I'm up the stairs.
Okay, you're taking the fun out of this, Bonnie. She's got a long staircase. And I'm slow. Hey, Daisy. There's Miss Daisy. Okay.
Okay, so now in your microwave, you want to take your glass plate and turn it over so that it will not revolve.
Okay.
And I have broken a glass, so it can happen. This is fiber blanket. You could do the same with a few sheets of that fusing paper, I think. Put that underneath. That's just to protect your kiln, your glass.
Yeah, now someone asked about, using a dedicated microwave. It doesn't really matter for this, does it?
No. But,
Okay.
if I had one downstairs, we wouldn't have to run up and down the stairs.
Well, that's true.
So anyway, the trouble is the cheapy ones aren't the strong ones.
Yeah, that's true.
So now you got it all set. It's pretty much the way it is.
Oh, we didn't bring the gloves up.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh, good.
So you set it for 3 minutes. And if your microwave was lower and you could see the top of your kiln, it starts out that it's red, the hotness in there, and then it turns a yellow-orange, and then when it's done, it's yellow. But I can't see in mine because it's too high. So we just have to kind of let it go. And then you want to be sure that there's nothing in your way underneath. And I'm going to walk it over here to my stove, and I'm going to put it on this cooling rack. And you have to have these gloves to do that. You can't grab a hold of that kiln. It is hot. And you always want to remember, glass looks the same when it is hot as all get out as if it's cold. So don't look at it and go, oh, well, this is okay, I can touch it, because you will get severely burnt. Because that's going up to probably 1400 degrees in there. Far more than you would get in your oven at 350, where you get a little burn. It would be a bad one.
Yeah, that would be bad. All burns are bad, but, I remember when I dropped that bead on my hand and burned 3 fingers. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was not nice. All right.
When you work with glass, you do end up with a burn.
It happens.
It will happen. You think that you're not, but it happens.
Come here, Daisy. We'll look at you while we're waiting for the microwave. There you go, Patty. Patty's watching.
Oh,
so
Patty's
she
watching.
said hi to Daisy.
Your buddy Patty's looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she misses you, Patty.
Daisy. Yes. Oh, yeah. There
so
she
I'm gonna
is.
just take a peek at this. And this is how I peek. I can see that's looking pretty orange or red up there. I lift, take a peek. Nope, it's not fused yet. Put it right back down, start it again.
Yep.
But you can see when I open the door, maybe you could hold it way in the air.
I could see the glow, but I don't know if it, if they could see it on the
on the
camera. But it said, I think, 3 to 6 minutes on the instructions.
So this is a 1200
Watt.
microwave. So it'll be on the faster side. And you should always just start out with 3 minutes and then peak, and then 30 seconds more and peak like that, because you don't want to overdo it. If you overdo it, you're going to ruin your kiln.
Does it melt on it then?
Yes. Yeah.
Whoa, look at that
See,
glow.
it's very close. See, it's rounded on the edges. We're going to give it just like maybe 30 seconds more. And then we'll bring it down.
Okay. We're watching you.
She's like, what? What's going on?
Yeah.
So you want to be fully prepared where you're going to put it, nothing in your way on your walk there, because this is very hot. So now for demonstration purposes, I don't really care if this breaks or not. I'm going to take the lid off so that you could see.
Whoa, feel that heat. Oh, it's stuck to the paper.
Can I let go?
Oh, you got it? Okay.
So you can see it's not a great shape, and that's probably because I didn't have it exactly right.
Because we're doing a demo. That's usually how stuff goes.
Well, but it shows, you know, like maybe it is more important that you are.
That is red hot. Although you can see it's starting to cool off.
Don't melt your phone.
Yeah, I'm always worried I'm going to torch it.
But, you know, by having a surface like this, you're protecting whatever that you're setting it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have a place to put the lid. And so technically what you should do is leave that lid on there for half an hour before you open it up. Then you'll open it up, maybe leave it another half hour and let it cool down to room temperature. Then when you get done, it's going to have, that paper is going to be stuck to the back of it. And then you can take it and run it under warm water and the paper will just come right off of it.
Yeah, Patty, you should leave the lid on until it cools down, at least a half an hour. But we're just doing this so that you can see, you know, what it looks like, because we don't want to wait a half an hour for it. And no, you don't need to wear glasses, kiln glasses for the microwave kiln. You're not really, your eyes aren't really being exposed to that.
If I wouldn't have opened it, you wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah, yeah. So, do they need to be annealed? I mean, they're
No,
pretty
that's
much,
it.
that's pretty much it right
That's
there.
it. And that's why it's just such a small piece that annealing happens right there. And as long as you have the same COE glass, 90 or 96, you should have no problems with that tiny of a piece that will
Okay.
fit in a kiln, in
Okay.
a microwave kiln. And this kiln comes in 3 sizes. You can get a small, medium, and a large, and I don't know, I know this is not large, but I don't know if it's a small or a medium. When I got it, that was all that was available. Since then,
They've upped their game. huh?
upped their game, yes.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna just leave this here, and then we're gonna go back.
We'll go back and we'll talk about things that you can do to
Yeah,
mount your piece.
this piece, Tammy's probably gonna crack because the lid should not have come off right now. But we just did it so you guys could see, you know, what it looked like at this point. But if it was something that you wanted to make sure that you didn't ruin, you would leave that lid on for at least 30 minutes, and maybe longer. So.
And then take it off and then leave it sit like that for 30 minutes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go back to the studio. Daisy, you can join us. And then I'm going to give you a little tour of Bonnie's studio because it's fabulous.
Do you want to talk about different ways that you can...
Yes.
So this is just stainless steel wire. You could put a little loop of that underneath, like when you do your melting inside your kiln, have that little piece under there, and that'll give you something that you can hang with. You can buy hangers, super cheap online, and glue E6000. You can do little bubbets. These are just little tiny squares of Dicro sitting on top of each other. And then glue, oh, my back is letting go. put a little bubbit of glass in one of the
Earring posts.
posts. This is just a little glue on, and then do your hanging from it.
You can wire wrap.
Yeah, this is wire wrap. You have your piece, and then you can make your basket and wire wrap it. You can take a Dremel with a glass bit on it with water and drill a hole in your piece and wire it that way.
And then there's wire that you can edge. Put the edge wire around.
Yes.
This one.
Like this.
Mm-hmm.
This you grind.
Make a
You have
groove
to have
in
a
there.
grinder, so you grind a slot around it, and then you put your wire there, and that keeps it from moving around. You can add little dangles to the bottom.
And show your bracelet.
Oh, this is like you buy the whole bracelet just as it is, and then make all your pieces and glue them into the little squares.
That's a nice idea. Okay.
These are molds that you can make jewelry with, and with the Dicro you'll have little snippets. I always save all the snippets because you can put them in there and then add a little clear frit on top till it's full, and then you full fuse that, and you'll have all those little round things with little glitter in them. This would make like teardrop shaped, and you could put little pieces of Dicro in there, or whatever you want.
Yes, Patty, it's very nice and comfortable here. Okay. What else is there?
Oh, when you're using a mold, you have to put something on it, a wash, so that the stuff doesn't stick to it. And we use boron nitrate.
You just brush it on.
You just brush it on. It also comes in a spray can that you could spray on. If you want to cut circles, I have this easy cutter that cuts a nice little round circle in the glass, and you can make it, into just a small little circle, and then pile your stuff on there however you want. There's no end to how much you can
No.
get with it.
I'm going to come over here and just show some of this. Whoa, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just klutzy. All right, on the other side of the table, here, these are little birds.
And they would go on this garden stake. You would glue this to the back of it, and then you could stick it in your garden.
Yeah, like that. Or in a pot, you could put that in there, and then there's...
I've also done it with this like thick copper, make a coil, and then glue that to the back of it, and then poke that in your pot.
And then these flower dishes, these also can be glued onto one of those stakes, and you can put that in your garden. Here's one that's started to be...
In the process.
Yeah, in the process of being made. This will be one of those dishes. Here's some examples here on one of the little brochures. But she's got quite an operation down here.
And then if we don't have the color frit that we want, we bought a little frit maker, so you can sit and pound the heck out of the glass with this.
Yeah, you can crush it all up.
You can put little marinis on your jewelry.
There's
There's
that.
no end to how many kinds of frit. And
Yeah, there's tons of frit. She's got tons of different glass. This is all fusible glass.
yeah, there is a difference between fusible glass and just glass. You could take a wine bottle and you can fuse it in your kiln in a mold, and that usually will come out fine. But stained glass, I have even taken stained glass and fused it to itself. So I used 2 sheets of stained glass together, and it broke.
Yeah.
So you need fusible glass.
Show you the mold table over here. These are all different molds to make dishes and plates. This one we just picked up last week. These are little frogs. Those will be yard art again. What else? There's some beachy kinds of stuff. They made some little cute soap dishes with these little fish a couple weeks ago. What is this one?
That's the top of a mushroom.
This is a mushroom top? Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the finished mushrooms here, but we did have them a couple weeks ago, and they were quite nice. And different leaf shapes for plates and bowls. So there's like lots of neat stuff. This is a big Monstera leaf. This is a new one too. We haven't made that yet. I shouldn't say we. I don't really do much of this, but
We're getting her there.
I'm always reluctant, and then when I start doing it, then it's like, why didn't I do this sooner? And then this is all scrap glass here. This is marked
See, and we don't.
96 here.
Yes,
And
and
then-
that's 90 over there. We just make sure that we keep everything with itself.
Yep.
And then these pieces, they can be used for jewelry, you know what I mean? So we don't throw away anything. They could be smashed up and made into frit or...
Yeah, it's pretty neat. You get a lot of bang for your buck. Let's see here. I'm gonna walk around here and show the lamp working station too. This is where I learned how to do lamp work glass. She's got a nice setup here where there's four stations. Yeah, 4 stations.
It could be 5, but we've only done 4.
And we've got the oxygen concentrators here, and the torches, and then the ventilation system. So that all gets taken up out of the room. It's very safe system. And let's see, we have a couple of different kilns. The bead kilns.
The one we use
For
when
doing
we're
the lamp work,
beads.
yeah.
And this is the kind of thing that Sue uses to make her cabs.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you get the molten glass on there, then you come over here and put it in. So
put it in the garage.
Slowly anneals and doesn't crack.
Right. Yeah, this is where I started doing lamp work. At first, when I first started hanging out here, I was just doing enameling. So I'd bring my enamel stuff over, and the girls would say, well, why don't you learn how to do beads? You know, we can teach you. And it's like, after a while, it's like, oh, okay. And then I discovered I really love it. So we have all kinds of glass rods here, different kinds of glass. Another station here. So yeah, so there's no threat of ever being bored over here. Just
No.
it's not a word in our vocabulary.
No.
Oh, here's some fused pieces right here.
This was a garden stake.
Oh, it broke, huh?
Yeah, I dropped it.
Aw.
But I might try and fuse it back together again, put it back in the kiln and see if I can't get it to... It was my 4th of July one.
Yeah,
So
it's
happy
pretty.
with it, so cute, and then I dropped it.
You're right, Patty. It was peer pressure. You guys were relentless. Okay, so
And then this is for grinding glass. So if you were to want to do wire wrapping on your piece after you did that, it takes this kind of a grinding wheel. You would put it on your grinder, and it would grind that little slot evenly around your piece. This is just a regular grinding wheel, and you always have to have water. And this is a glass saw. Again, you have to have water. It gets filled with water, and the water comes, and it's a bandsaw, so you can cut shapes and stuff if you want.
there's a diamond blade.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you guys have any other questions or anything? What time is it?
3:15.
Oh, it's early.
See, I'm fast. Doesn't take me
She's fast and she's good. Okay. Well, let's see here.
We can go back up and see if that piece is cooled down more that you could see it.
Okay, we're back this way. Do you guys have any other questions for us regarding the fusing? I have a handout that has some pictures in it, some of the steps. It's not real thorough. The demo is really the better choice, but I will put that schedule, that firing schedule on there, and that way you guys have something that you can work with.
In a bigger kiln. If you're used to free fusing in a big kiln, though, just your full fuse would do full fuse, or you could do a tack fuse if you just wanted some texture to it.
Which page was that? I'm going to turn this around again.
The full fuse. This is what I was using.
All right. Mary, I'll take a picture of this and include it in the handout. This is for the big kiln, the fusing temperatures and times. I think it's got all of that on there, and that way you can check that out. You can print up the handout and check it out. So you want to go check that, or it's probably still really hot though.
Well, I'll just take a peek and you can. I'll tell you to come up or don't bother.
Okay, all right. She's going to go take a look and see how that piece is doing. But yeah, this to purchasing the glass, Suni, I don't know. You'll probably have to go to. I can put a couple of resources on there. Delphi is one place. Ed Hoy is another. That's usually where we go. It's in Naperville, Illinois. They're like one of the biggest glass distributors, I think, in the world. And we don't live too far away from there. So, we usually go there when we need to get stuff. I'll post as many links as I can. There are lots of different choices, but, if you don't want to go quite down that rabbit hole quite yet, you can get a few of the things that you'll need, and the little microwave kiln.
So here it is.
It did
and
break, didn't
you
it?
could say, see it blue. That whole side is.
Yeah.
So.
But we knew that was going to happen by taking that lid off and not letting it sit. It just got a good case of thermal shock there. So. But it's perfectly doable, in the little microwave kiln. So, all right. Let's see, am I missing anything? It's really weird on this, on the message, or on the comments. It just keeps, when I'm scrolling, it just keeps going back to the same ones. I don't know why. I'm going to look on the computer. Yeah, I mean, you definitely can fuse those small pieces in a big kiln if you have one. I'm not pushing the little microwave kiln. I'm just saying for those people who don't have a kiln.
It's an introduction to.
Yeah, it's just it's a nice way, a not expensive way to see if it's something that you really like to do before you invest big bucks. So anyway, I guess Bonnie and I are going to go. Bonnie, where are you? There you are. Thank you so much for doing all of this.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Yeah. I love to enable people.
She's my buddy.
Yes. We feed off of each other.
All right, guys. I'll post the handout in just a few minutes, and if you have any other questions, just ask me on the group page. Okay. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.